Hello, truth seekers, good people of the world. Today I would like to present a lesson on how to do Gematria and explain why Gematria is important. For me personally, I learned about Gematria about a year and a half ago, previously having no knowledge. And if you're not familiar with what Gematria is, this is how you spell the word right here, Gematria. What it is the practice of coding numbers into names, words, phrases, and sentences. And it's a practice that dates back to the ancient Babylonians and is now most commonly practiced by people of the Jewish faith. So there's multiple methods, and we're going to get into some of those key methods today, the ones that I think are most important to know. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to do simple English gematria, and Pythagorean gematria. All three of these methods are interrelated. We will talk about that. And we will also cover Jewish gematria, which is based on the English alphabet as well, but a little bit different. And also, we're going to talk about why gematria is important. For me, learning about gematria, it has taught me a lot about this world I live in, as well as myself. And we'll get into those stories as we go. So to begin, the simplest form of gematria is called Simple English Gematria. And those three words for a reason. But the way it works is you just use the alphabetic order. A, B, C equals 1, 2, 3. And you just keep going. The English alphabet is 26 letters. Z is worth 26. A is 1, Z is 26. So this is how Simple English Gematria works. To add up the word simple, S would be plus 19, I would be plus 9, M would be plus 13, P would be plus 16, L would be plus 12, E would be plus 5. This word adds up to 74. If you do the same thing with English and Gematria, you will find out that the words simple, English, and Gematria all sum to 74. And think about the United States birthday, the 7th month, 4th day, 7-4. And as we move on, we'll see that is no coincidence. So English gematria, almost the same name, just without the word simple. It's the same thing except for you multiply every single letter times 6. So 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 6 is 12, 3 times 6 is 18, and so on. By the end, 26 times 6 is 156. This is English gematria. In this way, you get word, name, phrase, and sentence values that are 6 times bigger. So the easiest way to do English gematria is to first add up with simple English gematria, then just multiply times 6. You will get the same outcome as if you'd get it adding each word up this letter by letter with these bigger values. So for English gematria, it's always easier to do simple English gematria and then multiply by 6. For example, we just said that the word, we'll just do this on the side, we just said that the word simple summed to 74. So in English gematria, simple is 74 times 6, which equals 444, 444. So it's as simple as that for English gematria. English gematria is a method that I use the least, if you wondered, Truth Seeker. It's nice to know, but to me it's the least useful. And what we're going to look at here is Pythagorean gematria. And the reason I have the simple English gematria chart here is to make it easier to understand. In simple English gematria, the letters A through I are 1 through 9. When you get to J, you enter double-digit numbers. This is where it changes in Pythagorean gematria at J. See, in Pythagorean gematria, A through I are still 1 through 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. But J, instead of being 10, becomes 1, because 1 plus 0 is 1. K becomes 2, because 1 plus 1 equals 2. But because it's a multiple of 11, in numerology, multiples of 11, 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, those are master numbers. and they don't have to be reduced. So in this Pythagorean gematria, k can also remain 11. It can be 2 or 11. You have an option. L is the 12th letter, 1 plus 2 is 3. M is the 13th letter, 1 plus 3 is 4. So do you see what we're doing? We're reducing every single letter to a single digit. 3 letters have exceptions, though, in this method. K and V, because they're multiples of 11. 11 and 22, they do not have to be reduced. So if there's a K or a V in a word, it can be 4 or 22. You have flexibility. It's what gives this system more complexity. The other letter with an exception is S. Why S? Because S is the only letter you have to reduce twice, so it gets these special qualities. S is the 19th letter. 1 plus 9 equals 10, and then you have to do it again. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So S in this regard can be 1 or 10. Just remember that S, K, and V all have special properties. The rest of the letters all need to be reduced to a single digit every time in this method. And if you think this is impossible to remember, it's actually not that hard if you can just create some base letters. For example, if you can remember that C, L, and U, the letters that form clue, become 3, it'll give you a reference. Just like if you can remember the letters that form fox, create 666. F-O-X. F is the 6th letter. O is the 15th. 1 plus 5 becomes 6. X is the 24th. 2 plus 4 becomes 6. Remember, we're just reducing everything to a single digit. These are the principles of numerology, except for the multiples of 11. And here, we'll just do an example. Let's just do a word that has these letters in it. So a word like York with Pythagorean gematria. Y is the 25th letter. 2 plus 5 becomes 7. O is the 15th. 1 plus 5 becomes 6. R is the 18th. 1 plus 8 becomes 9. K is the 11th. So we can do 2 or 11. We'll do 2 and see what we get. 7 plus 6 is 13. Plus 9 is 22. Plus 2 is 24. If we do York with the K exception, it sums to plus 9 more, 33. And if we just do simple English gematria, I want to show you this true secret so you can see how the check works. It sums to 69. Now 2 plus 4, this is how you check it. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 33, 3 plus 3 equals 6. 69, 6 plus 9 equals 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. All 3 of these methods always need to reduce to the same single digit letter. This is Pythagorean. This is Pythagorean with the K exception. And this is simple English gematria. And if we wanted to do English gematria, it would be 69 times 6, which is 360 plus 54, 414. So in English gematria, the word York is 414. In English gematria, it does not have to reduce to the same single digit. It should not, unless you're multiplying times 9. But those are the methods right there. So we should have it for simple English gematria, and Pythagorean English gematria. We know how to do those methods now. If you still don't get it, just go back and watch this one more time. Perhaps find a scrap sheet of paper, write down a word and practice yourself. Sometimes you just do it with your own hand. It clicks in your brain. You just need to do it once yourself. But there's only one more method to cover. That's the Jewish gematria here. Notice that Jewish gematria is just an entirely different scale. Again, A through I, 1 through 9 are the same as the other ones, but once you get to J, it really changes. J becomes 600, K is 10, L is 20, so on. I want to just go through this again, go over the significance of these words and these numbers and how they show up within our own daily lives. And if you live here in the United States of America, this will probably be easier for you to connect with. Of course, I'm speaking about it because this is where I live and where I've grown up. Anyhow, Simple, English, and Gematria all sum to 74. In the United States, our nation's birthday is the 4th of July. And maybe you're thinking, well, maybe a lot of words sum to 74. It isn't the case. Let's go through it. In the Bible, Jesus is said to have been crucified at the age of 33. The name Jesus sums to 74. The word cross sums to 74. The English translation of Jesus is Joshua. Joshua sums to 74. There's this spelling of Jesus. 74. Jesus is said to have been Jewish. Jewish is 74. In the Quran, it's book 47 that speaks of Muhammad. Muhammad is 74. Within our own nation's geography, only one of the 50 states sums to 74. Only one of 50. That's 2%. And it happens to be the 33rd state, Oregon. Remember, Jesus is crucified at 33? Oregon, the 33rd state, sums to 74 with simple English gematria. The abbreviation OR even sums to 33. And think about how once upon a time, how important Oregon was to westward expansion. It used to be a much more massive state that has since been broken apart into other states, Idaho, Washington, Montana, and more. The Oregon Trail. So a very significant state in our nation's history. But that's not all. That's not all, Truth Seeker. This is what I really want to talk about right here. If you study Gematria, in Gematria, the God number is said to be 26. This doesn't pertain to just English, it's just in Gematria in general. The God number is 26. God, with simple English Gematria, sums to 26. And again, the English alphabet is of 26 letters. If you sum God with Pythagorean Gematria, G's the 7th letter, it stays. O's the 15th letter, 1 plus 5 becomes 6. D's the 4th letter, it stays. If you sum God this way, it sums to 17. 26 and 17. Why are these numbers important? Let me show you. If you sum 1 through 17, it sums to 153. If you sum 1 through 26, it sums to 351. Look at how those numbers are reflections of each other. In this symbol known as the Vesica Piscis, it's often on the back of cars, the symbol that resembles a fish. There's a math shorthand to represent that symbol. And the math shorthand to represent it is the number 153. Because within the mathematical equation, the ratio that forms the Vesica Piscis, these numbers show up within the ratio 153351 in that sequence. The point is these numbers are not arbitrary. They're based in mathematics, they have reason, and they're encoded into our language. It's the reason the word God is 26. This is the shape of the Vesica Piscis without the tail. The Greeks called this symbol the matrix of life. They said all of creation appears within this life. Because these numbers are based on sacred geometry, and what you find is that these numbers, they're replicated within our own bodies. They're replicated within the spiral of galaxies. They're all through the universe. And going back to these symbols up here, they are known as the ichthys and the Pisces often. And ichthys with Pythagorean gematria sums to 26, the God number, as does Pisces. Pisces also sums to 26. And the lettering combinations we often see in these on the backs of cars and on mailboxes where it's present. Look, this common acronym, 33. The word Darwin with Pythagorean gematria sums to 33. It should be noted that Darwin died on a date with 33 numerology, as did Einstein and so many other scientists. Sometimes there's the joke and it says in chips here. Even that joke, the way it's written, sums to 33, telling us that the joke is on us without us even knowing it. We don't even know to laugh. We haven't been told about the punchline. This is no coincidence, truth seeker. These are numbers of much importance. Let's see. What am I looking for here? So in the Bible, this number, 153, it comes up in John. It should be noted that John sums to 47 in simple English gematria, the flip of Jesus, 74. In the narrative of the miracle catch after Jesus' resurrection, they catch 153 fish. And Christian historians debate about this number. Why 153? Well, truth seeker, I'm showing you why. We don't need to debate about it anymore. It's the encoding of these mathematics, the mathematics of creation, the mathematics that represent all of our lives as thought of by the Greeks thousands of years ago. This is old knowledge recreated in different ways. I think the Bible is a retelling of this sacred knowledge, reapplied a different way, possibly for a new people of a new time. Once upon a time. And it's not just that passage, true seeker. The Catholic Church has people do their rosary prayers 153 times. Rosary is a 33 word. There's just so much of this. It's present in the military. Even William Shakespeare. If William Shakespeare was even a real person. So, I hope that answers your guys' questions on how to do this gematria thing. That's the main thing I was going for, but now we're into the component of how does this apply? Why is this important? When I first learned about gematria personally, the first thing I thought to do was to apply it to the 50 states. So I took the time to write out all 50 states, made sure I got the spelling right of each state, and then I did the gematria for every single state. It took me a really long time because I didn't know the sequence of the alphabet, and at the time I didn't know that L was 12. It took me several times before I remembered it. But by the time I got done doing all 50 states, it probably took me about 2 hours at the time. By the time I got done doing all 50, they were just stuck in my brain. I almost then knew every letter and every number. It was almost all clear. And then a little more practice, it was clear. So that's why it's worth it to take the time to do something like this. Write out all 50 states and then do the gematria. And do it with both methods. And make sure you did your math correctly. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And anyway, when I did this, one of the cool things I found was, for example, the only state that summed to 74 was Oregon. I found that out. I also found out that with Pythagorean gematria, only 3 of the 50 states sum to 33. The first, Delaware, which also has an establishment date of 33. It was established December 7th, now known as Pearl Harbor Day, 1787. In numerology, 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 7 sums to 33. That's how you get the numerology of a date. So and that's also what I started to notice right away. I said, wow, look at this. The gematria of the word matches up with the establishment date. And it's not just true for Delaware. It's true of Thailand and so many other places. It's not just the United States. So of the 3 states that have this, it's the first state, Delaware. The 6th state, Massachusetts. Remember, the numerology of 33 is 3 plus 3 equals 6. The 6th state. And the last. So first, last, and 6th. 3 33s. I mean, how perfect is that? And there's more, True Seeker. There's a lot of interesting things. There's 9 states with 11 gematria when it breaks down, and a whole lot more. And I don't think any of it's an accident. I think it's all very well thought out and well planned. As for how I found out about my own, or how these numbers impact my own life, well, I've told this story before on my blog, but if you haven't heard it, I'll tell it again. Last year on April 7th, that's also the date 4-7, or in some parts of the world it would be 7-4, I had 2 girls message me, send me text messages that I hadn't talked to. I hadn't talked to either of them in about 2 years. I dated both of them in the past, and I hadn't heard from them. And all of a sudden, they both texted me out of the blue within about an hour of each other on the same day. And I thought, weird, because it was just on April 7th. I just thought it was already weird. And studying these numbers, as I said in the very first blog I did in this video, the most important numbers are 26, 33, 47, 74. Other numbers are also important, but it just seems in doing this research that so often 26, 33, 47, 74 come up. So anyway, I was already thinking, wow, it's this date. And look at this, these girls are texting me. And my girlfriend right now, who I've been dating forever, I met her on the 4th of July, you know? So anyway, these are two different girls. Well, one of their names was Maddie. Look at this. Maddie sums 247. The other girl, her name was Trish. Trish sums to 74. And I swear this is a true story. Out of nowhere, Maddie and Trish texted me out of the blue, and now I'm even looking at noticing something I've never noticed before. This is also a weird truth secret. Now it's tripping me out even more. M is the 13th letter, and T is the 20th. M plus T is 33. So, you know, if you doubt me on this story, you're more than welcome to, but this really is a true story. It blew me away. It made me wonder what in the world is going on. For myself, I was born in Oregon, the 33rd state, and as we said, it has a Gematria 74. And it just kind of like I'm working with this theory, trying to see how it might really be happening. I wonder if all these numbers are constantly influencing our lives, if these are just numbers of power that show up in a lot of our lives, or if for some reason some of us are more attracted to these numbers than others. And perhaps in my case, maybe just being born in the 33rd state with this gematria, maybe somehow you pick up that energy, that frequency that's put off from that location and having that name. You know, I'm working through theories. I'm trying to understand it. What I have found out, though, since I started making these video posts is, you know, a lot of you have communicated with me, sent me your stories, told me about the numbers in your life and how you found out how your relationships have lined up in similar ways. So I feel that there really is something here, and that's why I like to share this. I feel like I'm helping bring, you know, old knowledge back to the surface that's always been here with us, just overlooked. I mean, just think about the first thing that we learn in school. As students, the first thing we learn in the Western world is the alphabetic order. So in a way, we've always had this set of skills. We've just never applied them. And once you become aware of them and apply them, you might find out some real magical things. And on that note, the word magic is another one of these 33 words. If I can type right. 33. So, True Seeker, hope you learned a few things here. Give you one little more piece of information. With regards to 33, it's what a name is supposed to sum to in Gematria. And the word name in the English alphabet sums to 33. If you write out code name and do the Pythagorean Gematria, it's just like this. Code name is 33. So again, hope we covered all this. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. I'm also going to make a short playlist with a few more videos that are related to this. If you want to watch that, I'll have that link down below as well. And while we're at it, let's also watch this video on YouTube about sacred gematria. It's a good one.
Point A around point B, that makes a circle. But these two single points are clones, and those 2 points have equal potential. So not only can point A rotate around point B, but point B can also rotate around point A. This is one radius that both circles share. That black form in the middle there, that's called the vesica piscis or the vesica piscis, depending on what you prefer. The vesica piscis is literally the womb of the universe. This is the whole essence of the universe. I'm not kidding. Sounds like a real crazy thing to say, but 2 circles of common radius, and this shape in the middle that it makes, called the vesica piscis, is the whole root of sacred geometry. Literally every single thing that exists, and I'm not kidding, everything that exists springs out of this womb, this football-like shape. It sounds like a wild, improbable, crazy thing to say, but it's...
And True Seeker, I just want to remind you, by every single thing, even our English alphabet. Again, what I'm trying to make the point is that our alphabet is entirely based on this. And our teachers, they forgot to tell us because somebody also forgot to tell them.
absolutely true. Everyone pretty much agrees. The universe is created by division. That ultimate mystery, that great creative force, which is the all, God mind, unity consciousness, that oneness divides and becomes duality, and voila, the Big Bang.
True Seeker, Big Bang sums to 33 with Pythagorean Gematria, just like Genesis, the first book in the Bible. And a lot of people say Big Bang is the scientific retelling of Genesis. They both sum to 33.
God mind as single pointedness divides and becomes duality, and all relationship begins right there. And out of this relationship, of course, two circles of common radius and the vesica Pisces. Vesica Pisces. So let's look a little closer at this vesica Pisces, huh? Right there it is, that's it. When we get to four circles of common radius, which naturally evolve out of these points C and D, the vesica Pisces is in the middle. But we have now 5 vesica Pisces inside 4 circles of common radius. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, interesting. With the creation of those points C and D, we have within the vesica Pisces a triangular situation. So we started with unity, we evolved into duality, and now we have an evolution to trinity. This is the birthplace of trigonometry, an entire division of mathematics born in the vesica Pisces. Huh? Those 2 points, C and D, bisect the vesica Pisces and create the cross in the center and a new center, point X. So this introduces the transcendental nature of this pattern. It flips all the way into infinity and all the way out to infinity with smaller and smaller and smaller overlapping circles and larger and larger and larger overlapping circles, all the way to infinity. So, you can't learn about the Vesica Piscis in a few minutes. This is an unbelievably deep and rich form, literally the womb of the universe. Everything that is springs out of the Vesica Piscis. Everything. All unfolding and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling into what we see as this manifest universe. We are sacred geometry. We spring right out of the Vesica Piscis. Omnipresent principles of the universe. That is what sacred geometry is. And the Vesica Piscis, or the Vesica Piscis, is right in the heart of that.
All right, True Seeker. So that about wraps it up. Give you one more thing. Maybe you still got a doubt. This might be the clincher. You're wondering, is the English alphabet really based on mathematics? Well, check this out. I say it most definitely is. 13 plus 1 is 14, plus 20 is 34, plus 8 is 42, plus 5 is 47, plus 13 is 60, plus 1 is 61, 81, 93. 93 plus 19 is 112. 112 is a lot like 1 plus 1 equals 2. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.